Stipe Miocic says that Jon Jones hasn't really felt heavyweight power yet. As most of you know, Jon only absorbed 7 strikes total in his fight against Ciryl Gane. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Stipe said power, there's no question. You've got a big man in there throwing bombs. It doesn't matter if you throw hard or not. All that weight behind a punch with small gloves, anything can happen. There's a lot of reasons. One, I want to fight the best. I'm a competitor. I love to compete and I love fighting. I'm still having fun. My last fight didn't go as well as I wanted it to. I'm ready to bounce back and get that win. He's there to win. He's a fighter. He's one of the best of all time. He's going to be ready to go. Francis Ngannou gives his take on Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. During an open workout yesterday, Francis said I put 50-50 on that fight. I fought Stipe twice, and I know Stipe is pretty good. I know he doesn't look like it, but I know how tough he is. I know how good he is. I know very well. Francis also spoke on the possibility of him fighting Jones one day. He said, I don't feel like I need, I feel like I want. I want. It's not a need. Alexander Volkanovski believes Islam Makhachev would defeat Charles Oliveira in a straight-up jiu-jitsu match. On his YouTube channel, Volk said, who I think is the better MMA grappler? I'm just going to point to Islam. Jiu-jitsu will go to Charles. This is going to be pretty controversial. Even if they did a jiu-jitsu match, who do I think will win? I'd still say Islam. I think Oliveira has got cleaner, crisper sort of submissions and jiu-jitsu moves, but when it comes to actual grappling and control and dictating where it all goes, I've got Islam all day. I think Charles needs to do a better job of getting back to his feet, pouring the pressure on that way, which could lead to openings, submissions, while he's building himself back up. As Islam is trying to catch him again, maybe leaving his neck vulnerable, then getting him sort of out of position there because on the bottom, you're not going to get him out of position. Then on the feet is where Charles obviously needs to get Islam for his best bet of winning that fight. Josh Thomson is critical of Ian Garry's decision to call out Wonderboy. He says that it does not take courage to call out a 40-year-old.
And look, Ian Machado Gary's good, and he's got a lot in the stand-up, and he could definitely hurt Vicente Luque and put him out of there. But this is the kind of fight that I think Ian Garry needs. I think this is the kind of fight that's going to put him either to that next level, or is going to be that fight that teaches him there are levels. And Vicente Luque, he got past, some of the damage that he's taken in fights, and he had a long time off for a while, and now he's come back. He looked good in his last fight. He fought smart. I think, stand-up wise, he's willing to stand and bang with anybody, and he's got power in his hands. He will take the fight to the ground too. So this is a multifaceted fighter that Garry is going to have to figure his way through. He's obviously hot right now, and I think that's why they made the fight.
This is what I think. If the younger guy is saying, yeah, I want that fight, or yeah, I'll go ahead, I'll sign on the line, that lets you know that he believes. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have taken that fight. No, I've trained with him. Like, I need one more fight before I get there. He's thinking that he's got this fight in the bag. Now, who knows? Maybe he just believes this is the time because Vicente.
Well, he also called out Stephen Thomson. Look, Ian Garry is not trying to back off of anybody. He's wanting that nice little ride to the top, and he's willing to fight.
Well, I don't really call it courage when you call out a 40-year-old. Sorry. Now, except in the fight with Vicente Luque, who's 31 years old, and he's a stud, and has fought, everybody. And, I feel like he's a little bit on the downturn right now, so I don't know what it is with him, but something's not clicking. Like a little bit of the speed is off, a little bit of the combinations. Something's off with him a little bit right now. I don't know what it is, but he hasn't looked his same, after he went on that little run there for a while to get himself high up in the rankings. Where Ian Garry right now he's obviously feeling himself. He's believing in everything. He's believing in his own paper clippings. He believes it. That's good. That's what you need.
Tony Ferguson eyes a fight against Conor McGregor after Paddy Pimblett. Speaking to ESPN, Tony said, I have nothing against the kid. Patrick seems like a pretty legit dude. He's pretty big, his stand-up is okay, but his ground game is a lot better. I love fighting internationals. It's cool. I love it. Going after Khabib for a long time and going after McNuggets, this is about as close as it's going to get for right now. So as soon as we get through this dude, we'll go after Conor if he'll sign on the dotted line and get through USADA. I have shit to do. I've been competing for 35 years. I'm not even close to being done. What it's going to take is a great team that got me to my championship belt, my interim belt. I had a great team, but holding on to certain things can sometimes be very detrimental to yourself, which sometimes you just got to let go and hold on to the things that hold on to you very tight. and that goes faith, family, and friends. I don't want to retire. It's not in my fucking thought process. It's not about getting cut. It's not about doing all this stuff. It's about competing. And what I did was I started competing without, one, having fun, and two, really giving 100% into my training. I thought I did, but that means I have to be coachable. I have to be a student again. I have to ask for help. Sean O'Malley fires back at Aljamain Sterling's criticism. Alja was annoyed at the fact that Sean is pushing for a rematch with Chito Vera. MMAfighting.com tweeted out the quote, it says Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera 2. Why are we making this a WWE sport? Sean replied to the tweet. He wrote, did that right hand not feel real, brother? Although he lost last week at Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, Angel Pacheco still received his win money and a UFC contract from Dana White. Angel lost to Danny Silva via unanimous decision.
Sorry. Are you out of your mind? That was incredible. I know you did. I could tell you wanted to win, man. We're going to pay you your win money, too. That was incredible. Let me see your ears. Oh, crazy motherfucker. That is insane. We can get you to the hospital and get you taken care of, all right?
I know it's crazy to say, but if there's ever like short notice opportunity.
You ain't crazy. No, it's not crazy. You're a bad boy, man. Yeah, you showed up to win tonight. Love it. You were right up my alley, buddy. All right, good to see you. All right.
Jorge Masvidal went off on Colby Covington last night. It's safe to say that Jorge will be rooting for Leon Edwards at UFC 296. Jorge said, I hope Leon leaves him in a stretcher. Just beats the dog breaks out of him. Colby is old now too. He might not be able to keep that pace up. Leon's looking really good at being a scramble, get up to his feet, and start to fight again. I just feel that Colby is a couple of notches above Usman in the grappling department if he's on top of somebody, just being real sticky and holding somebody and not letting go. So Leon, I think with some improvements in the wrestling department, and then he can get back to his real estate, which is fighting on the feet. I think he could pull it off, man. I'm hoping he pulls it off, but it's going to be one of his tougher fights though, because Colby is not going to come to fight. He's going to come to sniff crotches. He can sniff a crotch for 25 minutes, no problem. He'll squeeze as hard as he can and just sniff away. Leon has to be prepared for that, but I'm hoping he pulls it off and leaves him in a stretcher. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post future ones. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Loud Black Men Film Production 7974. It's in reference to Charles Oliveira saying that it's unfair that his fight with Islam is in Abu Dhabi. It says, of course there is unfair treatment in the UFC. The pay-per-views are $80. The second one's from 215 Riot. It says, if I remember correctly, when Tony fought Justin, he also did 2 weight cuts really close together. Then to go out there and have that kind of fight, it's really no surprise that his game diminished. It's really unfortunate though. And the final one's in reference to Daniel Cormier saying that Tony Ferguson lost something in the fight against Justin Gaethje. It says, I think he lost something in that fight. Brain cells. Tony lost brain cells. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured on the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. If you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen to get caught up. And make sure to go subscribe to our second channel where we post our exclusive MMA interviews.